This raw interview brings attention to the link between personal trauma, systemic inequality, and cycles of violence in Black neighborhoods. We got to address the gun violence as well. Addressing gun violence demands that we tackle the underlying socioeconomic disparities. We talk about expanding access to mental health care and also supporting trauma informed approaches that are going to heal our communities.
Welcome, everybody. This is your executive producer, Kat, with the Johnny Binder Show. So we're coming on a little different today. The minister is having some issues with his camera, but he'll be joining us shortly. So today's subject is no more trauma, how to heal, rebuild identity, and regain inner stability. So a lot of times our unresolved trauma or issues that we haven't addressed or may not even know are there, right? That's usually what's driving our programs. That's usually what may be causing the chaos and confusion and unhappiness in our lives. So today we have with us Coach Clayvon with the GENESIS program, and Coach Clayvon will be discussing in depth his strategy for helping us transform. So he is with GENESIS Transformation, and we'll have real conversation about how we can make ourselves better, our families better, thereby our communities better. And more than that, this is not just about digging deep and fixing yourself like Ayana used to do. This is about holistic transformation of fixing the mind, body, and spirit so that we can go forward and adopt better habits and be successful in our businesses as well. So I am going to go ahead and bring on Coach Clayvon and my host for today, Miss Leslie. And when the minister is able to join, we'll put him on the stage as well. So it's Miss Leslie, Coach Clayvon, and we do have the minister here as well. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay. Well, glad to have you, Minister. Did you want to have a word before we jump
in? Did you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Everybody, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Clayvon, can you hear me? All right, let's the show started. Let's go.
We have started. Okay.
The devil's a lie. Let's go.
I know. So I guess what I want to know, Coach, is if you could tell the audience a bit about yourself and about your program.
Well, thank you, Kat. And again, good evening. Again, Leslie. I mean, first, it's an honor and a distinction to be on the Johnny Binder Show. I'm just very grateful. And I'm very excited about this opportunity. Some simple insight on my background. You know, Kat, I'm actually born and raised in the northern part of the country, New Jersey, New York area, where I was born and raised. You know, my father owned and operated a health food store for well over 50 years, multiple health food stores between Brooklyn, New York and Newark, New Jersey. And he was a pioneer in the wellness space. A health food store going back that many years, there was no Whole Foods, there was no GNCs, there was no vitamin shops. So as a pioneer bringing wellness to retail business, again, I grew up in a mom and pop store, and I believe, you know, all the herbs and all the vitamins. And I mean, this is going back in the days of Dick Gregory's Bohemian Diet and the great late Dr. Sebi, you know, being indicted for claiming he could cure AIDS and all these other diseases. That was my childhood, you know, and I had a very up close and personal view of this time in history. And coming up in that environment, I became a certified health consultant. And the idea of healing people, the idea of disease prevention, the idea of helping people with their health, uh, and of course, talking about health and wellness could be hours of its own podcast, right? But I'm just trying to illustrate. I think that's where the desire of pouring into people, adding value to people's lives, value to the community, it was just instilled in me through the family business. And then, Kat, I went on probably a 20-year journey in entrepreneurship, dealing with sales and being thrust into a leadership position where in leadership, I was very much responsible for the personal growth and development of sales reps throughout the country and even on other continents around the world. So a lot of traveling and a lot of working with people. And so, I think that just gives a little insight on how I came up and what was very important to me, and the entrepreneurial spirit, and again, health and wellness. And I heard you say a word, holistic health and holistic approach. So, it went from biological health with the physical body to eventually knowing that health starts in the mind, and the
Right.
conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and how it filters out to spiritual health, and the whole idea of self mastery, and looking in the mirror and seeing the best version of yourself as the key seed for your success, your dreams, your goals, your purpose. That became ultimately the focus in the ministry.
That is wonderful. And we're glad that you've made this journey and this transition into the helping season and helping folks heal and do better. Off stage, y'all, he provided me with some valuable insight about this brain. And this is and this brain up here gets real complicated sometimes. And I was quite impressed with the insight that he was able to give, and had a real big aha moment. So when it comes to our community in particular, Coach, what do you think our major challenges are?
Well, we would have to break it down into subsets. If we're looking at the violence amongst, let's say, a demographic like like Black men. If we're dealing with, so what I'm just trying to say, Kat, we would probably have to break it down a little bit more deeper to do a great assessment. I mean, we could be talking about relationships between Black men and Black women, and then in all respectful relationships of what's healthy today. But whether it's the economy, whether it's entrepreneurship, finances, religion, education, relationships, I think there's many issues. But one thing about trauma that I can say is that when you're dealing with fear, when you're dealing with guilt, when you're dealing with anger, when you're dealing with low self-esteem, when you're dealing with any low vibrational emotions that stem from maybe your adolescence or your childhood, when you first dealt with embarrassment or abuse or some level of what we call trauma, when those experiences of pain went unprocessed, but instead were buried and filed somewhere deep, in the realms of the subconscious mind, but unprocessed, they became traumatic for you. And now as an adult, as you're living your life, you find yourself being triggered, where those files get reopened up. And instead of responding with poise to situations, you find yourself reacting to unprocessed trauma triggers. And you're not really overreacting, you're being over triggered. And to have triggers controlling a human being's emotions and feelings and thoughts like you are a yo-yo on a string can be a horrible experience because actually you're in shackles. And this experience impacts how you view and deal with your community, your relationships, your children, your career, your purpose, your goals and your dreams. So it becomes very compromising. There is nothing, what I have found, more compromising than an adult living a life of shackles, not being able to break the chains because they're in the bondage of trauma bonds, living a life of triggered reactions. So it affects every aspect of a person's life experience.
Ooh, that was deep.
So,
Leslie?
yeah, I'm catching all of this because I see that a lot in our communities. And if I could be honest, I felt like I've dealt with some of those things on my own. How does one unpack those things? How does one do a little self-help, especially when you recognize your own triggers?
Well, Leslie, I feel like we have some time. Do you want the short surface answer, or would you like a little bit of depth?
Definitely don't want the short surface answer. Let's dive straight in.
Okay. I'm going to share something with you that's worth $1 billion. And instead of giving you a cliche surface answer, I'm going to invite you into, my world and how I was able to use the science behind the GENESIS Transformational Program to break one of my own trauma bonds. Would that be okay? And as, Kat and I were speaking, we're all living in stories. So let's take, a deep dive, and you can ask me any question that you like, if you want to interrupt, but I'll keep it short but sweet. I have a very great relationship with my mother. My mother is like my best friend. But boy, oh boy, emotional intelligence is not her thing. You know what I mean? Like, she is unfiltered. My mom is old school, raw, and uncut, right? But we keep it real. And it's a beautiful thing. And I would say maybe 10 years ago was the first time I'm talking to her about some dynamic in life. And she stopped me and she just, we're at her home and her kids. She's like, Clayvon, I gotta tell you something about yourself. And I'm like, okay, what's up? And she says, you can be very arrogant sometimes, especially when it comes to dealing with women who are in positions of power, telling you what you should and should not do. And I said, wait a minute. And she left it at that, right? Because obviously I was telling her a story and she felt that was the appropriate response to my story. And I said, wow, interesting. And in the back of my mind, I'm dismissing it because I love women. I respect women, from Sojourner Truth to Michelle Obama to Whitney Houston to Oprah Winfrey to Harriet Tubman to this one and that one, Rosa Parks. You can't tell me anything about some powerful Black women. Honor, love, and respect. That's what's on my mind. Like how do you say I'm arrogant? So anyway, so a couple years would go by, Leslie. And somehow, some way, I'm talking to my mom and I'm telling her a story, something I have experienced in my life. And she stops me and she says, there it goes again. She said, did you hear what you said? She said, Clayvon, I'm going to tell you something. You can be very arrogant and very dismissive. To this one and that, Rosa Parks. You can't tell me anything. When it comes to dealing with women in positions of power, telling you what you should or should not do, or teaching you something, you can be very arrogant and dismissive. So again, I'm like, are you kidding me? Where are you getting this from? It was a blind spot. All right. So, okay, Leslie, here's the deal. Now you got that, okay? My mother, who knows me better than anyone else in the world, This is her assessment. And obviously the stories that I'm telling her to spark that reaction are stories of me maybe having complications in business arrangements, affecting career, affecting some financial opportunities, right? And this is her assessment, but it's a blind spot for me. Now let me bring this home. Are you ready? Okay. We all live in a story. When I was in the first grade, I was in class and there was a wonderful teacher by the name of Miss Daniels. Okay. And the classroom was in some sort of recess. I remember my mannerism as a child where I stayed in my seat. I was in the middle of the classroom, middle row, in my seat. And I remember raising my hand and saying, Miss Daniels, may I go to the bathroom? I could remember, some kids in their seats, 6 kids over there, 3 over here. But she had a system. And in her system was often a child could use the bathroom on their own. It was only down the hallway. But normally we would all go as a classroom. Boys on one side of the hallway, girls on the other side of the hallway, into the bathroom, come out to the back of the line. She had a system. So her response, because I guess in her mind, she was ready for a group bathroom break. So she said to me, Clayvon, we're all going to go as a classroom, just 2 or 3 minutes. And she's trying to organize the class. And I can remember. So I sat back. 2 or 3 minutes may have turned into maybe 7 or 8 minutes. Because I remember raising my hand again, Miss Daniels, can I use the bathroom? And again, her response as she's trying to gather order in the classroom was to impress upon me, hold on, just wait, we're all about to go together. And that moment, Leslie, I used the bathroom on myself, defecating. Okay. Now, in the first grade, I'm sure everyone can assess the age. How old are you, Leslie Cat, when you're in the first grade?
Probably about 7?
7, sounds about right.
Yeah.
At the age of 7, that was my first experience with what would soon evolve into embarrassment, but surely feeling uncomfortable,
Right.
and extremely overwhelmed. As we gathered to walk to the bathroom together, I could remember my first feelings of panic. Okay. As it was my turn to go into the stalls of the boys' room, I could remember just being overwhelmed, trying to frantically clean myself to the best of my ability. Fast forward, I was a latchkey kid, meaning that I would walk to school, walk back home with my friends, key was in the mailbox, enter, and I would be home until parents came home from work.
Mm-hmm.
But the same 3 or 4 good friends that lived in a little subdivision with me, if you ever remember the Charlie Brown special where the one kid would walk and it'd be like a little fog of dust over his head, and that was me on that afternoon. I was Pigpen because probably the aroma, the stench was carrying with me. And I remember being teased by my friends. So that's what I mean by the first idea of embarrassment or ridicule.
Came from a woman.
Get home. I remember going into the apartment, running into the bathroom, taking off my garments, running the tub water, and trying to wash my garments frantically, just thinking how much trouble I was going to be in for this mess that I created. Embarrassment. Now, again, at that age of 7, I don't know what anxiety is. I don't know what stress is, but I know I felt it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so what happened for me, Leslie, to fast forward for you, at that moment, I'm sure I told myself as a young child, I would never allow a woman in a position of strength and authority to tell me what I can or cannot do. Because if I do, it would lead me to pain, embarrassment, defecating on myself. And you know the word that we would use other than defecating, on myself.
Right.
Theoretically, metaphorically, that's what it would lead to. A level of high embarrassment, a level of shame. Now, that's a story that was created. And what happens, Leslie, to break trauma bonds, you have to decipher the reality of what happened versus the traumatic story that you are living in. Because here's what happened. A more than qualified teacher, an empathetic, compassionate, loving teacher, missed the crying needs of one student, right? And her desire to have me be patient while she's organizing her classroom, I used the bathroom on myself. That's what happened. But the story that I'm living in is this woman put me in a position of abuse. This woman neglected me. This woman ignored me. This woman controlled me. And in that situation, I felt nothing but shame and embarrassment and anxiety and discomfort. So what I had to do in this overstanding moment and reflection is I had to go back and rewrite the story to liberate myself from this idea of traumatic bondage. Once I rewrote the story, she was no longer my enemy who was committed to me being in a traumatic situation. I rewrote the story of what actually happened, not the story I created about what happened. So this is the difference when it comes to trauma. There's two circles. And this is how you break trauma bonds, Leslie. You have to go into the two circles. One circle is what happened, literally. The other circle is the story you are telling yourself about what happened. And that story is full of emotions. It's full of low vibrational emotions, fear, pain, anxiety, regret, abuse. And rewriting the story is where the freedom is. That is where breaking the shackles lie. Once I rewrote the story and focused on what happened, not all the connotations I allowed to believe about what happened, I was freed. And then in working in that space day after day, week after week, month after month, my mother could never make those comments again because she noticed there was a more liberated version of Clayvon as it pertained to powerful women and my need to be humble and coachable. It was no longer an issue. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, but I'd like to ask, did you at any point from the time of being in, kindergarten, experience any other scenarios with powerful or in charge women? Because I think that oftentimes we create a theme, right? I say that that is my thing. When I encounter someone, everyone has a theme of their life, right? So oftentimes we take that one particular thing and it kind of guides you into similar scenarios.
Exactly. And
So did that happen? Go
that's very insightful. Yes, because that's what happens through the law of attraction. And that's why they call it trauma bonding, because you begin to attract the stories, right, that are most illuminated in your consciousness. So the answer to your question is yes. And that's why, as I started my story, I included my beautiful mom's consistent assessment, because it began to happen. And she was my sounding board for situations and circumstances And through her wise counsel, she would say, boy, you can be very arrogant. When she was the one planting the seed that there was an issue there that I couldn't see. And because I was able to go and do the due diligence and go and seek, where these patterns stem from, which is the hardest assignment,
Yeah.
self-reflection. But through the honest, transparent self-reflection and having a mentor to help me work through it, because sometimes what you have to do, Leslie, is you have to go back to your adolescence and you got to be honest. When was the first time you experienced in your mind a story of abuse, of pain, of embarrassment? There's those moments in your adolescence, in your childhood. And that is where the stories are seated. And if you can be honest and go back and get into that story, you can rewrite it. But to answer your question, yes. And it was a beautiful mother that helped me be aware, well, this is cycling. Yes.
I like the part where you say to rewrite it, to go back in it psychologically and give yourself a psychosocial assessment and a dynamic and look at what happened, because this trauma is so deep in America right now. Almost 85-95% of the people is in trauma and don't even know it, because you have the puppeteer and the puppet, and we have become robots and puppet, and we don't even know it. And over 50% of the people, at least 70% of the people, are so easy to be triggered. You can just say something, what, mother, huh? What? You can see it all over the freeway with the freeway, what they call that, what they call that, road rage. They out there shooting children, shooting through cars and fighting, jumping out the car. That's why I wanted to take this on and work with you, and where we can touch millions of people, and then set it up where they can come on, where we have classes, and then also have stuff to get them for classes, because it was given to me in 1990. So this is real serious. Get no more serious than that. It's a lot of people. Clayvon is hurting right now. So especially with all these innocent people being killed by ICE on national TV. That's they never seen that. We done seen it. They ain't seen it.
And
Trayvon.
I agree 1000%, my brother. And, as we how we started off is that trauma impacts every aspect, of your life. And one person can see something traumatic on television, an execution, and it could leave them in a story that they have to deal with. And then Leslie, you could see the same thing. Kat, you could see the same thing. Now you got 3 different stories, 3 different dynamics of trauma. And one could be left, one of us could be left with rage. And as Johnny spoke to, road rage has nothing to do with this person cutting you off on the road. But that cutting you off on the road triggered something that happened when you were a child and your feelings were dismissed. When you were a child, someone overlooked your needs. When you were a child or in your adolescence, something happened where you were disregarded and you felt someone took advantage of you, maybe your kindness for weakness, even in a relationship. So that person cutting you off, it had nothing to do with that, but what was triggered was the same rage and anger you felt when someone took advantage of you, took your kindness for weakness, or whatever the case was. And now you are not responding with poise, not thinking this person is cutting you off because they got a pregnant wife in the back seat, or their child has been sitting at the elementary school for 2 hours because the mother couldn't get there. You're not giving them any type of grace or consideration. You're so wrapped up in the story of someone disrespecting you that you react with violence and insane social behavior. Yes, Johnny.
Let me help you out, and I agree with you. Relationships is one of the greatest things in the world. We open up a company to go with your company called Solutions to Relationships. where you just gonna tie us right back into your company, which we in now. This has never happened on the planet Earth with us. In the last 5 years, uno, dos, tres.
Uh-oh. We lost him. While we're
So,
waiting for him to reconnect, you said something that I know a lot about the blind spot, about the inability for us to see ourselves. How do you know when, I guess, how do you, what triggered you to be able to look at yourself and decide that you're going to accept the feedback that she has given you? And to Leslie's point, I'm sure you had received that feedback before, maybe just in a different form. But how do we accept that as don't get triggered by the criticism, but actually say, maybe I need to take a look at that. Maybe I do have something that's going on.
It depends, Kat, on where you are in your state of development. There's only a small percentage of human beings that are committed and obsessed with personal growth and development. And I would pray for everyone who sees this podcast, whether it's the GENESIS Transformational Program, whether it's whatever vehicle you choose, I wish for everyone a commitment for self-mastery.
yes.
A commitment to alleviate yourself of all your character defects and focus on one day looking in the mirror and seeing the best version of yourself. Because it's at that point where the law of expectancy, the law of attraction, your goals, your dreams, a person who is purposeful and purpose driven, everything that you need will come to you when you are operating at your best. Now, here's the thing about life. I sit down with people all the time, Kat, and I say, most of us want financial relief,
Right.
financial freedom, not for the love of money, but so we could get money as an issue out of the way, have time freedom, live the best quality life God offers, the Lord offers, right? Serve, do ministry, charity, finance your dreams and goals. Well, I had a mentor say this to me one day. He said, Clayvon, what is money? And I had so many simple concepts going through my mind. He said, no, what does money represent? I said, what does money represent? And after going back and forth, he said, no, money represents one thing: value. Money represents value. So everything that you see in your room right now has a value to it. And based on that perception of value, there is a financial money assigned to it.
Yeah.
But guess what he said to me, Kat? He said, Clayvon, if you want to get rich, you don't have to work 80 hours a week. He said, all you have to do is increase your value. He said, because if you ever get to the point where you become more valuable and you bring more value to the market, which is the people, your income will increase. On that day, I developed a magnificent obsession to becoming more valuable every year.
Yeah.
So to become more valuable, it's mentally, physically, spiritually, psychologically, it's every dynamic of the human experience. And if you ever can get into that space, which is my wish and dream and prayer for every human being that will see this podcast across the world, is that you commit to increasing your value, become more valuable. That is a very aggressive assertion and commitment, but it takes humility. And you don't have to be humble to the world, but there's got to be someone that can whisper in your ear and say, you had to check yourself. Hey, take a deep dive, take a look at that. And for me, that was my mother. Because I had a little bit of wisdom. I'm not that smart, but I had enough wisdom to not disregard my mother. And maybe even if I did on the surface the first couple of times, I promise you, it got to the point where I said, man, she sees something. Maybe I need to take a look at this. And that's where it started. That level is a two-prong dynamic, Kat. A desire for self-mastery, personal growth and development, and enough humility to understand I'm a work in progress. And there's going to be people, places, and things to help expose where I need to get better. And when that exposure happens, it's time to do a deep dive.
I want to ask a question. I think you kind of answered it already with the value analogy. But I mentioned earlier that I see, this triggering with a lot of our community, with a lot of our young adults, right? In your assessment, would you attribute that to trauma, or would you attribute that to the value that everyone is seeking? Because we put, like you said, value on the dollar, you know what I mean? But it really lies in the individual, if we really, think about it, because that money is fake. But how would you, can you answer that for me?
More specifically, let's look at our community, Leslie, and what plight in the community are we referring to? Violence? Are we talking about, poor relationships? Like what dynamic of our community are we talking about? Because some things are trauma fueled, and some things are just fueled by a community that's lacking culture. Lacking certain cultural principles that police efficiency.
Okay.
Okay, so we'd have to break it down into some subsets to really figure out, are we suffering from trauma in that area, or are we suffering from, like Johnny and I were speaking, I know he's on mute right now, about Black men and their youth and their adolescence taking the lives of other Black men.
Right.
Now, is that trauma? Possibly. And Johnny shared something with me that I'll never forget. He said, well, here's the thing. When Black men are removed from the community and removed from the household, and you have this young Black boy who may have been raised by his grandmother and his mother and his sisters and his female cousins, now you have a young man that's possibly not being raised to have intellectual, mental discipline, but maybe he's over emotionalized. Okay. And a lot of crime that comes from young Black men is a combination of trauma, but it's also triggered in the emasculation of young Black boys, where they're so feminized because of being raised by a community of women, that in intense situations, there's no emotional discipline, there's no high level communication, there's these erratic emotional responses, and with a firearm that leads to manslaughter. Does that make sense?
It does. Can you flip that for the women as well? Can you put a...
Well, for the women, I think 9 times out of 10, it still goes back to the absence of that father in the household.
Okay.
Because now there's a lot of trauma, because the sad story that is taboo in the Black community is the amount of abuse, mentally and physically, and let's say sexual abuse, that happens to our unprotected Black girls because of the lack of security and protection in any given grandmother's house or household, from the stepfathers, cousins, best friends coming over, brothers, best friends, etc. Our young girls being unprotected. I would say 80 to 90% of the trauma of an adult Black woman, if she's carrying trauma into her life throughout the world, it comes from being physically or sexually abused in her infancy or in her adolescence, being unprotected. And that scorn and that desire for protection from a father figure leads her into a world of searching, okay, and a world of anger and despair, which leads to all types of social dysfunctions. And as Kat pointed out earlier, there's a reciprocal karmic reaction to you keep drawing these bonds to you that are the opposite of therapeutic. Okay, because all you're obsessed with this lack of value for yourself, this lack of self-esteem. Okay, because of the abuse, because of the trauma, so you keep drawing it to you. So I would say that, and I see Johnny pointing up. Yes, sir.
I agree with everything you said. I was at a school a few years back, and there was about 1,000 people there, 500 girls, 500 boys, right there on Alameda and across the street from the post office before they shut their school down and turned it to something else. But I did all girls and then all boys, which I already knew, but I was testing it again. I asked, it was about 500 girls. I say, how many of y'all been, and I said, this is to us, there's nobody else but us. How many of y'all been molested? Almost 92% of the young girls in there. Some uncle, cousin, stepfather, brother, daddy, somebody has touched them in some perspective. Either they breast, they father, John Bart, some kind of way. And what it does, ladies and gentlemen, it's a trigger there because she's carrying it. And if the father not there to sit at the table, a wise father, not a dumb daddy, a father like, baby, because if a man don't know there's something wrong with his daughter, something wrong with him.
Yeah.
Baby, what's wrong? Baby, what's wrong? Come on, let's go to the room. So we don't have enough of that. When we used to sit at the table, the woman and the man, even co-parenting, we did it. So a lot of women have been more traumatized than the men. You do know that, right? Can you hear me, Clayvon?
Absolutely, as you said, especially as it pertains to sexual abuse.
Yes. But the women
I agree.
have been disrespected, our women, more than anybody on the face of the earth. Through the music, no other music do what we do, suck me, eat me, flip me, dip. Nobody custom it. And now, all of a sudden, because I had to study this, Clayvon, 26% of young men, I'm right back there again, are touching our girls. And you leaving me? Yeah. Boom, boom. 26%. Then we not honoring them because we ain't been taught. And that's why 75% of the teaching in the Nation of Islam is about the woman. If they got to join the nation, just go in there and learn about the woman and lead. Take 9 months and go in there. Because if you don't never get that straight, your whole life could be eradicated because you don't know that she's directly connected to God. And she's directly connected to you. Because your chromosomes are X and Y. Male and female, she double X. So everything come out of us too. The black man is with the woman, is the mother and the father of earth. So again, my brother, this Genesis is going to touch millions of people because right now we have so much eradication, so much Donald Trumpness, Donald Trump's internet, and he's nobody. He's like a gnat on an elephant's rectum because he's being controlled by Israel and all the billionaires. He got to do whatever they say. So again, all this trauma going on, and them two wonderful people, Renee Nicole Good on national TV, the world seen it. She didn't do nothing. She ain't hit nobody. Now they coming back so much. He had turned to bleed. Oh no, no. And the nurse, Alex Patty. Oh my God, 10 times in the back, and he had no gun. The man pulled a gun off him, and the man was a hero because he's trying to help the girl, and he never did anything. They engaged him. So all this trauma people looking at. Somebody need to mute their phone.
Oh, Amber.
So again, to you, to all of us, America has only been messed up like this in slavery. But God allowed the world to see now what happened to us. These people are blatantly life being taken on national TV. The whole world see it. And the man didn't do nothing. And they engaged him, the man backing up like that, and got his camera in his hand. He's not, the man ain't even trying to fight. And then he tried to get the woman up, and they tase her and shoot the stuff in his face, and he's still trying to, because anybody else they went on draw it and took care of their business. He didn't do that. He kept saying, no, stop, don't do that. The man is a hero. He was getting the woman up. Now everybody's seeing that. So most people right now, young man, need a psychosocial assessment and dynamic because they carrying that. And millions of people, over 19 million people the next door, New York, DC, Minnesota. I'm talking about 90-some% Caucasian. Ain't but a few of us out there. So again, what I'm saying to you, if we ever need Genesis, we need it now.
I agree with every fabric of my soul.
And I agree with that. And I want to circle back, fam out there watching. Y'all, thank you for joining us this evening as we talk about no more trauma, how to heal, rebuild, and regain inner stability. So the Genesis Transformation is giving away a free gift. And if y'all stay tuned, I will be showing the QR code so you can click on that and take advantage of it. I guarantee it's going to change your life. I feel transformed, and we've only been on the air 47 minutes and 24 seconds. So I'm feeling the healing over here already, and I want to thank Coach Clayvon for giving us, my audience, that fantastic gift for these services. And so I think we kind of asked this question a couple of times. It's like, we know we have experienced a lot of trauma bonds, but what do you think about generational curses?
Well, it's a catch-22. And again, with Johnny being, a master nutritionalist and a wellness guru, I believe that he may agree with me on this. But generational curses, here's one cliche. Father had diabetes, mother and grandmother had high blood pressure. And I just don't want to let generational curses be an alibi or a scapegoat for community responsibility, because those quote unquote generational curses are really a lack of discipline and a level of ignorance as it applies to our diets.
That's a fact.
Which is the diet. Are we going to eat to live, or are we going to be emotionally triggered where we are living to eat?
That's a fact.
So it's not so much that high blood pressure is a generational dynamic or curse. It's the fact that you're eating the same poor foods that your mother ate and that her mother ate, where the processed salt, where the processed sugars, and the infusion of genetically modified foods and chemically designed and ingested foods are now on our plates, along with a lack of exercise and eating all this dead flesh. That's a fact. Culturally habitual through the family lines. So, I just, again, I'm with you, Cap, but generational curses, wherever there may be some validity there, I say that the human responsibility, taking responsibility for your household as it pertains to what culture, what religious theology, and what diet is happening in your household will reign supreme over any idea of a generational curse. Give me a healthy culture and we'll win. We'll break any curse.
If I may, I don't use the word piggyback because pig is grass from a cat rather than a dog. But if I may say, everything you said was the truth. But the generational curse was a setup to get us stuck. Because notice they never said a generational blessing. We was a generational blessing. We used to be the emperor and the empress. We was the kings and the queens. We built the pyramids. We built castles. We built whole civilizations. We've been here millions of years. Our Caucasian children been here 6,000 years. We've been building. We've been the master builder. So it's no such thing as a generational curse. They use that word, Catherine, to stagnate us because the generational curse is if we do what my mother did. 2 heart attack, 2-stroke flatline, eating bad food. My dad at 53 dead. I'm past 53, I ain't dead. And everybody say, man, you think you'll die like your daddy? I say, hell no, I ain't gonna die like my father. He was full of grease. And I love my father, but he didn't know what he was doing. He knew how to make money, but he didn't know how to take care of his body. That's why Bron James still at his age playing ball like he's 25. He spent $1 million a year on his body, and he have a diet, a coach, a chef that cooks his food, not his wife, a chef that cooks his food and watch everything, the intake. He's the only man in NBA ever spend $1 million a year on his body. And we don't think that our health, Leslie, Catherine, Clayvon, audience, is that important because we've been tricked with a taste, all of us. We're taking a dead animal, putting it in a live body. That's where the generational curse at. My daddy did it, my auntie did it, my uncle did it, I do it. Monkey see, monkey do. But a lot of young people, the millennium, it's more vegans, millennium, than older people. Why is that? Because younger people be on these things all the time. And they seeing their mothers and fathers with high blood, kidney failure, diabetes, and dying, so they punching it. Then they seen Left Eye. Then they seen Nipsey Hussle, which is right behind me. So they seen all of that. And young people now, I'm talking about like 20 million of them are now vegans. It's 360 million people in the world. So that vegan thing is pushing. Pescatarian, vegan, and vegetarian. It's pushing now because it's a taste. And now that I found out you can eat Beyond, you can eat hamburgers, 10 different hamburger cheeses. Catherine know this. She was 105 pounds overweight. Now she's a vegan, had diabetes. So the generation curse was broke with you. Because that's what that is. They want us to do the same thing. And so I got diabetes, I got high blood, I'm overweight. And it means nothing to me. Why? Because in my mind, it's a generational curse. No, I participated and I made it a generational curse because I'm not in no generational curse. I'm in a generational blessing. That's what I'm in. And I'm taking Leslie, I'm taking Catherine, and I'm taking Clayvon with us together and become a coach. I've been a coach and go through this with my PhD in theology, with the doctorates in divinity, because that's why I tell people, Clayvon, when they come on the show, we got to give them knowledge, wisdom, understanding, give them freedom, justice, equality, food, clothing, shelter, love, peace, and joy. That will break this generational so-called white man curse. Because there's no curse on us, we put it on ourselves. We have a generational blessing when we change our mindset and stop putting a dead animal in a live body. We shooting the animal, wow, kill him in fear. You can't get all the blood out the animal, and we putting that junk in us. and it sits in our colon, Catherine, for months and months. We eat 3 meals a day and snacks and use the restroom once a day. So there go 2 more meals. In 30 days, there's 60 meals in you. So we are murdering ourselves, and we do not know how to eat. And it says in Revelation 12:9, Clayvon, people destroyed for the lack of knowledge. So when this show go out and she piece it up, Genesis is gonna take legs like never before. And the devil tried to stop me from being here. Brother, I've been fighting 45 minutes trying to get on this thing. My $1,000 computer out, right here behind this. Mother phone won't take it. This phone wouldn't take it. This is 17. I kept beating it up, busting it in the head, flipping it down, slamming it down, flipping it in there, caught it, and it finally came on. So if I'd have stopped, they got it. I ain't got to worry about it. But that ain't how it go. I have to participate because I have to listen to you, Clayvon, because Genesis is something going to save millions of people life. Yeah, we're going to make some money. Yeah, we're going to do that. We need the money so we can fly everywhere, go places, put commercials out. So we need the money. But it's going to save millions of people's life because people walking around with baggage, with food, and walking around with baggage, mental. They got 60 to 120 pounds of dunk in them and use the restroom. That's why Dr. Saber told them to use the restroom and stop eating that meat. Our teachers not even made to eat meat. And Chick-fil-A, with that junk they got in there, they got 50 man-made man ingredients. My video is going platinum. It's all over the country because a dude took my video and had the meat and dropped it. And then when I said Chick-fil-A, he was eating the Chick-fil-A thing, then he dropped that. So it doesn't spin all over America. So, and I didn't know the guy, I don't know the guy. I want Catherine to find him. I want to fly him in and give him a position. So on what we be teaching, he can be the one to do the commercial because he's real good. I mean, Clayvon, he's good. So again, this trauma bond we got, we've been hurt from slavery and emancipation, proclamation, free from the hand, Trey Clayvon. We never been free from the mind. We are not free today in 2026. We do the same thing every year, looking for a different result. How you gonna get a different result? You do the same thing. You're going to happy hour. You're going to a club to hunt in the game. We wait about who gonna win the Super Bowl. I don't give a damn. They don't play the Super Bowl. Talk about the soccer coming here. I don't give a damn. Soccer don't come here because they might pull it back the way ISIS run around taking people's life. So again, brother, Genesis, if it was ever needed in life, it's needed now because the whole world, brother, in Psalms 82, God said the whole world is out of course. The whole world is out of course. Why? Because most people not following God. They following their lower self. And that's where the trauma come in. It's where the fighting come in. Road rage, happy hour. We want to be happy for an hour. A lot of people have low self-esteem. A lot of people don't know how to let it go. Now I can do it. Cameron. This baggage. And if you keep carrying that baggage for years, Clayvon, years, that nigga messed over me. He went with my sister. He had sex with my best friend. Then you get another boyfriend. He did this, he did. Then you get another boyfriend. So look what you done did. You done had 4 boyfriends. They go on about their business. They don't care nothing about you. Never did. They wanted some sex. Now they go on about their business, but you carried it. And when you carry trauma and you carry this baggage, it weigh you down and make you don't smell well. Really, you stink. So that's what's going on with us. We carry too much trauma. We carry too much baggage. And this is why Genesis is needed. And we have to pattern this thing correct Because when the Caucasians see this, they'll try to steal and run with it, man. So we got to make sure our booklets, our e-books, all our stuff is trademark, is ours. Because if it's not, brother, the whole America, just turn the TV on right now and go to the news channel. ISIS is, and they doing all that because the Jeffrey Epstein styles, because they ever open it, he know he's a child pedophile. And he know he gonna get on the case. So that's why he don't want him open. He'll start a war, anything, with anybody but China. So again, brother, welcome to America. Genesis is needed.
I want to
And
ask a question.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Kat. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead, Leslie. But after Leslie speaks, Marcus, Marcus just joined. I'm sorry, Clayvon, mine. I want you to tell us a bit about Genesis, just so we can, the audience will have a good point of reference. But go ahead.
Well, that's actually what my question was. He spoke about participation. I wanted to know what it looks like to participate in the Genesis program.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Well, let's start with the name. You know, Genesis means new beginning. And the belief in this ministry movement toward human transformation is that for there to be a new beginning, something must end.
That's a fact.
And so what ends are the character defects. What ends is the fear, the low self-esteem, the trauma. What ends is anything shackling you, holding you back from being the best version of yourself. And so what we're really ushering in is the personal genesis that each and every member, each and every participant is going to experience. So that's the science behind the name of the Genesis Transformational Program. And what it is, it's a 6-module program with the ability to then experience a second 6 modules, which go into what we call the Genesis experience.
That's right.
Perfect time, Kat. And make a long story short, here's how it works. You spend your first 6 modules breaking trauma and getting into self-mastery. And then, Leslie, at that point that you are whole and complete, you have the next 6 modules that put you in a position to now accomplish your goals and your dreams, to live out your purpose. Modules like time management, modules like project management.
That's right.
Goals. Modules like how to deal with conflict and confrontation. How about a big module, emotional intelligence? We talked about value earlier, right? Well, we have a module called value proposition. What value are you becoming? What value are you bringing to the market? Okay. Modules like leadership, right? So Leslie, once you are whole, now let's give you all the power, like it's like being in boot camp, because this life out here is war. So let's give you all the substance that you need to now get out in the world, become interdependent, and kick butt. Okay. And so that's the entire Genesis experience. No more trauma plus social impact. That is the entire program. And through the website that Kat put up a couple of times, it is genesisnmt.com. If you our viewers, if you go to genesisnmt.com, right, the last portion of the banner that is up here, you will be able to do your due diligence and, number one, visually see and listen to quite a few testimonies from individuals around the world who have taken the program. And then you can do your due diligence about not only the 6 modules of the No More Trauma, but the entire 12 modules of the Genesis experience. And what I'd also like to say, if I may, before I pass it back to you ladies, is that, did you want me to save that for the end? Kat, I almost got ahead of myself about the...
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Uh, what I really love is talking to people when they have questions, when they want clarity, when they want to understand, is this program for me? So, what I thought would be amazing in honor of being on this great platform, the Johnny Binder Show, the Johnny Binder Experience, with the great Kat, the great Leslie, that, what I want to do is give a gift. So, anyone who scans the barcode that Kat will show either now or at the end of the program, or maybe both. If you scan this barcode, there it is. You are going to go to our corporate calendar and you can schedule a free consultation call with myself, Coach Clayvon. Of course, our consultations, there's, traditionally been fees aligned with consultations, but this is going to be completely free on behalf of Johnny Binder. Actually, Johnny is paying for all of your consultations. We're going to call it free for now for everybody. Anyone who's interested in the conversation you heard tonight, if you're dealing with trauma, if you're dealing with a desire for personal growth and development, if you want to make more money, if you want better time management, but you want to talk about it before you make a commitment. You want me to help you do the due diligence, help you see what you're in store for. Go ahead and scan the barcode there, schedule a free consultation call, and we will take the journey together. You will be in this journey for yourself, but not by yourself. We got your back. So scan the barcode, schedule your consultation, go to genesisnmt.com, do your due diligence, and in the words of Zig Ziglar, we won't see you at the top. We'll see you over the top. Back to you, ladies. Okay,
No,
let's make it
thank,
happen. Let's make it happen.
thank you. Thank you. I just want to introduce Marcus Bowers. He's joined us. He's our other co-host. Thank you, Marcus, for coming on. I just want to know if you had a chance to listen in and if you had any questions for Coach Clayvon.
No, I'm just not tapping in. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I'm definitely here. Good to meet you, Coach.
A pleasure is mine, Marcus. Heard some great things about you.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
He's not gonna say too much about himself, but I will. He from 2012 to now, God has blessed him to make millions of dollars, like 100 million. He done deal with a lot of women, a lot of people, and now he's going through some trauma, but he's handling it very professionally because someone pulled a gun on him, and Marcus could have came back because he can fight. He can knock people out. Because I know about that life because I do it. But he was humble enough this time with humility to walk away. And now that he see people not mentally sound, I told Marcus, please don't ever do that in the courtroom again because people can't take that. Marcus can take a lot. I can take a lot. You can take a lot. Most people can't take it. They triggered. They walking around with baggage. And some of the people, he's the founder of the company. So Genesis is gonna work for him, and he'll be trained to be a coach. Leslie will be trained to be a coach, and Captain already asked me she want to be a coach. So I'll be your second coach, and then we'll go on from there. Cause I'm already ready. I'm not bragging, but I'm ready. I've been doing this Genesis thing. It's called Jericho. When I was in prison, they were bringing the children to me. They was giving me the worst children from the free world. So I've been doing this, and what you're doing is dynamic. And the white folks, they knew you had this. Now we out here with it. I just want to make sure we got it patent and we own it because that trauma bond, is so many people need this because they walking around, especially with the kind of president we got, it's trickling down on people that's not sound-minded. And they think with their lower self, don't think with their higher self. So this is good for Marcus right now. We did a special show with Marcus the other night, about an hour and 40 minutes. So again, Marcus will be a good coach because right now he's doing something he never did. He doesn't flip to be somebody else. It was this here. Now it's this. And it ain't because he's scared. They know he ain't scared. He's a knockout artist. But he got a wife and a family, and he got a whole career. So he's saying, I'm not going to step into that. Even though in my mind I want to do it, but I'm not. That's breaking that so-called generational curse. That's breaking that trauma. That's breaking that triggeration. We're too easy to be triggered.
Mhm.
Back to you, Marcus. Say something. Your phone muted? Okay, something happened to Marcus whenever he come back. But I was telling you what done happened, and me and Leslie and
Yeah, I'm here.
Catherine.
I'm here, Mister. Yeah, man. So even since the last time I was talking about a couple of things, there's so much that happened since then. I'm excited to update y'all, but I don't want to bore y'all with all this. You know what I'm saying? So, what I will say is that everything's working out in my favor. You know, in Genesis, I know that's one of the books in the Bible. I think that's probably where you stem your program from. So I'll dive into that. But yeah, again, I'm just excited to be able to express myself from time to time. That's not my entire story. That's just a small piece of it. But it's happening right now, real time, and yeah, just open to talk
It's
about it.
right on time. It's right on time. And I've been with him like 3-4 weeks, but Catherine, I gave her the privilege to set it up the way she wanted. I didn't set none of this up. Catherine said, "Can I set it up? I want to set it up. I don't want to bring him in now. I want to bring him in on Tuesday." I say, "You're the executive producer, and that's how you want to do it." She couldn't believe I said that. I say, "Do it." I did that because I know she seen something in it when she was sitting there and seeing us. So I didn't want to stop her expertise and her her giftedness and her prodigyness to make sure when we bring you here that she would be able to show what she just showed. Your steps, your first six, and then the six when you done broke it. So uh, the modules, the first 6 modules, then your second 6 modules. Uh, uh, Marcus gonna eat this up. Believe me. Leslie in corporate America for 19 years. She gonna eat it up because she done taught people and gave them that program. Catherine used to go and teach people how to run Fortune 500 companies. So you got some great people here, and we one of the only podcasters, and I'm not bragging, that have solutions. We don't gossip. We have solutions. So we come on to say what had happened, and then we give solutions. I don't want to be no gossip, wilding out, fighting, slapping, cursing, doing dumb stuff. I ain't gonna be nobody jackass and monkey. I don't want to do that. And God has blessed me with almost 30 million people in 6 months. And with Leslie, Marcus, and you and Catherine, brother, we have a 50 to $100 million contract after a while, just the podcast. And then Genesis will be writing grant money to that, and money gonna be come from everywhere because we get so much money a month on so many of them. You know, I know the numbers. So again, this is prolific. It's at the right time with all this buffoonery going on with ISIS. And Frances Cress Welsing wrote the book on ISIS. And she said what would happen. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in the 65, 66 what would happen. And it's happening right now. Because these people are out of order and they're not following God, especially not this flunky, this robot, this animal, Mr. Trump. So there it is. And Israel is controlling him. So Genesis, if you want to go somewhere with it, we need to get on a plane and fly to the White House with it and start right there. Because they need it better than anybody, all that whole Republican crew. So again, brother, uh, this is needed. This is at the right time. And it belonged to us, you, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And Catherine, I like how you presented tonight. And God wanted you to present it because my $1,000 computer won't work, won't turn on, got a thing on it, still ain't turn on, mother phone won't turn on. I had to fight to just get here. But I was gonna get here if I had to leave here and go to somebody's house and get on something. So my mind was made up. I wanted to get here because I want to be here with you to present it to the world. So when they slice it up, they can see the importance of the 6 modules that'll save their life and break this thing they call generational curse. We need generational blessings when we do the other 6 modules on the other side. So that's what's going on, Marcus. This is my partner, my friend. He is prolific. He honored me, loved me, and he honors me. I mean, from first day I met him, didn't take him but a moment. He already knew I was. And I'm a nobody. It's just what I've done in life that God has promoted me to do and allowed me to do where I could come back and be a spokesperson. A lot of people don't know I got this much knowledge and wisdom because they know Johnny Binder, but they don't know that God saved Johnny Binder and gave me the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, freedom, justice, equality, food, clothing, shelter, love, peace, and joy. So I ran a behavioral health clinic for 10 years with a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and an LPC, life professional counselor. So I taught them. And God has given me that kind of wisdom, knowledge, and supreme wisdom. That's why I walked with Marcus that night. I had to let it get it out of him because I don't want him to hurt nobody because what he's been done to him is illegal. And it's not loyalty. When the founder give y'all something and you make over 100 million with it, then you come back and try to take it and steal a car while he's on set and the police there, and then the security guard won't give him the keys. Come on, man. So I honor you, Marcus, for being humble enough not to put your hands on somebody. That is a miracle. Catherine, what that clap thing that bring it on. I give you that, brother. Yeah.
Oh, we got sound effects? We got sound effects on the board?
Yeah, we have sound effects. Yeah, we do have sound effects. There you go.
So yeah, Marcus, I appreciate you stepping over here with me. I'm with God. Clayvon with God. Because if you'd have stepped out of that place and went back to your darkness, you wouldn't be here, you'd be in jail. And that's what the devil wants. He wants you because if you keep where you at, you become a billionaire. Not money-wise, but saving people's life. And that's what the Johnny Binder show about. It ain't me. This God show. I ain't no damn CEO. God the CEO. I'm a servant of God. Jesus said, I have no power. The only power I have is what my Father give me. And so when you speak intelligence, say, everything I say of my Father. And he ended with John 17, Clayvon. He said, everything I ever done, Father, 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 I have glorified you in this land. I have glorified you in this land where you may glorify me. This the part pastors ain't gonna never read. I do not pray for this world. Pray for Donald Trump. Not praying for no Donald Trump or this government. I do not pray for this world. I only pray for those that follow me to my Father. Go to John 17. If it ain't there, I'll drive my Escalade to you, hand you the key, and you can take the note and go on with it. And may God bless you. Yeah. So again, Genesis is right on time, brother, because a storm is here. And all 110 million people on the East Coast, this little storm here was nothing. Down there, 40 below. Brother, if I was somewhere 40 below, ain't but a few things would happen. I'd wait till I can get somewhere to get to the airport with my clothes and never came back. 40 below, you can spit in the sky in the spit, it freezes in the air. I can't do none of that. But again, Genesis is needed because America is out of course, out of order, out of structure, and too many people is losing their life behind these Republicans and some of the Democrats that's cowards. And here we are. They're not leading the people to God. They're leading the people to the devil. So yes, sir, the 6 modules are needed. and the sixth, coming out the sixth module where we can go and exercise it is needed. So again, this is wonderful. It couldn't come at a better time. I supposed to have been with somebody today that's a millionaire, a comedian. I ain't gonna call his name at 12 o'clock. I was so messed up with all this stuff, I forgot. I gotta text him and let him know, say, man, man, I forgot, man. It's been that messed up. So again, thank you for coming on with this. How much time? What time we been on there, Carol?
We have about 20 minutes left. We're about 1:20.
Okay,
So
good.
I know we've talked a bit about diet as well, and as it pertains to good mental and emotional health, but I wanted to play this clip as well.
Where we are emotionally impacts where we are mentally and physically. So a lot of the mental health problems, particularly in the African American community, that haven't registered as mental health statistics, like rates of depression or rates of anxiety, are registering in our bodies. High blood pressure that can't seem to be controlled, diabetes that's coming out of nowhere and hard to control. Even when you're taking your medication and eating right, your blood sugar is still up. We experience the effects very deeply in our bodies as well. And so the health disparities in Black America that we consider physical health disparities are also an indicator of our mental health. What's your body doing? Are you in pain, lower back pain, migraines, the tension in our shoulders, dental issues, because high levels of stress dries out our mouths, and without proper saliva flowing, it actually undermines our dental health. There's so many things that our bodies are telling us about how we're not well, and trauma lives in the body.
Play it again.
Where we are emotionally impacts where we are mentally and physically. So a lot of the mental health problems, particularly in the African American community, that haven't registered as mental health statistics, like rates of depression or rates of anxiety, are registering in our bodies. High blood pressure that can't seem to be controlled, diabetes that's coming out of nowhere and hard to control. Even when you're taking your medication and eating right, your blood sugar is still up. We experience the effects very deeply in our bodies as well. And so the health disparities in Black America that we consider physical health disparities are also an indicator of our mental health. What's your body doing? Are you in pain, lower back pain, migraines, the tension in our shoulders, dental issues, because high levels of stress dries out our mouths, and without proper saliva flowing, it actually undermines our dental health. There's so many things that our bodies are telling us about how we're not well, and trauma lives in the body.
That's a good one now. You couldn't have came up with a better one, Catherine. That goes with the diet. People don't know how important their diet is. You know, I'm gonna eat whatever I want. I don't care what nobody say. Okay, keep doing it. Because it's gonna catch up to you. So, because I said some silliness like that myself when I was 23, 24, 25. I don't care what you say. Yeah, okay. And I almost died sitting on a table when they cut me open. So again, I'll never go back. Never go back. Never. I don't want no high blood. I don't want no diabetes. I don't want no Black man, Clayvon, is leading in heart disease. Did you know that?
Absolutely.
Black man in the whole America, Black men are leading heart disease, putting that junk in their mouth called grease. Popeyes and Chick-fil-A and Chimichan down the street. So we in the cold part about it, some of these people are lawyers, doctors. You got doctors dying fast in their patients. A doctor. My doctor, Dr. Stone, told me, he said, Jeremiah, I said, yes, sir. He said, I don't check your whole body. I can't find nothing wrong, but when you pull something, he said, as far as I can see, I see y'all playing basketball now. He said, but I check your whole thing. I ran your blood. He said, I can't find nothing wrong with you. What do you do? I swear I had no meat in almost 20-something years. I had no dairy. I had no sugar. Sugar's that wrong. He said, you ain't no meat. There's a doctor, one of the biggest doctors in Houston, Dr. Stone, got $2 a doctor. He said, you, and own hundreds of $millions worth of land, but he couldn't take care of the greatest land in the world, him. The same way the owner died in the Texans. He said, You don't eat no meat? I said, no, sir. How you do that? I said, I fell in love with me. And I didn't want to put a dead animal in a live body because everything has a cause, has effect. So I don't want to affect me. My mama had 2 heart attacks, 2 strokes, and flatlined twice. I don't want to do that. My daddy went in the room at 53 and went out because the grease came out his mouth. I don't want to do. My contractor did the same thing, kept eating chimichan twice a day. 2 years later, he dead. So again, family, how we eat. You can exercise all you want. And no sense of exercise, you eat correct. You got to do both of them. That's where we can get away from this so-called generational curse. And if we this smart and Marcus, he's so powerful and strong. Think about when he stopped eating like that. He already strong. The strongest man in the world could carry 1,000 pounds, right? He stopped eating meat. He carried 1,224 pounds, 30 feet. He carried 224 more pounds when he stopped eating meat. He ain't had no meat in 12 years. It's on a Game Changer. I send it to y'all. Y'all can see it for yourself. Carl Lewis didn't break his record until he stopped eating meat. At 30 years old, he won 4 gold medals. He didn't win them until he stopped eating meat. So again, ladies and gentlemen, our teeth is not made to eat it. Our body's intake, the colon full of it. So people will not treat you right, will never teach you right. And that's why Nipsey Hussle, they took his life because he was putting an autobiography out on Dr. Sabi and left out. She been putting it out. But we have to wake up and realize the power we got and back that table up and eat healthy where we can come together and own our own banks, our own credit union, our own finance company, and be healthy and wealthy. That's what we got to do.
But in order to, no, I agree with everything you said, Minister, but I also think that part of that is reducing your stress. Because if you're stressed out, then the cortisol in your body causes just as much inflammation as the meat you could eat. And I know we shouldn't eat meat. I'm just making the comparison. And if your body is inflamed, then you're going to have high blood pressure. You're going to have issues with your blood sugar, insulin, and diabetes, so on and so forth, and the migraines. So it's a mind-body connection is all I'm saying. It's a mind-body connection.
Well, Catherine, I know I know better than anybody. I watch you lose 105 pounds. I watch you be diabetic because I told you if you turn vegan, I didn't tell you I think it's going to go away. I said, Catherine, Clayvon, I looked at her because she didn't know I was going to take her back to Fort Worth because I'm not going to watch you. Yeah, you go back to Fort Worth. I wasn't going to watch you. I love you too. I wasn't going to watch you take your life because I can't watch you eat something and I know what's going to happen. And you my partner and you my executive director and I'm sitting up here watching you do this and I'm looking at you like, say, man, that and I don't want to be, I don't want to, hurt nobody's feeling, but I kept being humble with her, Catherine, for about a month. And then all of a sudden, she said, you know what, man? I'm going to stop this. The lady lost 105 pounds, Clayvon, Marcus, Leslie, and she don't have diabetes, took the medicine back. All that insulin, she could give it to somebody else. She don't need it no more. Her mama seen what she did. Her mother seen what she did and said, wait a minute. Call me, said Jeremiah. My daughter-in-law, she looked good. She said, wait a minute, man. I need to change my diet. Let me try this vegan thing. So I don't know how far her mama done went, but I know she gave me that call about 2 months ago. So again, your health is your wealth. And we have to learn that.
And we have to learn because a lot of that was letting go of emotional baggage too, because that causes weight as above, so below. So it wasn't, that's why I know I'm real sensitive about the whole weight thing. And I've been much smaller than what I am now, y'all. The wind could have just picked me up and just blew me away. So the 105 pounds is great, but I know all of the contributing factors to that. So That's all I'm saying is you got to let go of what's weighing you down emotionally too. And I was a stress eater, so I would have to constantly talk to myself and say, hey, why you eating that, girl? Is it something you feeling? Do
That's a
you
fact.
really want this?
A lot of
So
people eat off stress.
yeah,
That's
so
a
that's
fact.
what I'm saying. It's a mind body connection.
Food and alcohol. Food, alcohol, and sex. Yes, ma'am. Stress.
I want to jump in because that's something that actually happened to me. In 2023, I actually had been practicing raw food eating
Mm-hmm.
for about a year and a half. And then I got news that my mom was dying of cancer. So when I went to go
My God.
be with her and that type of thing, the emotional eating took place. That's where I fell off. And when I fell off, it's been
My God.
hard to get back
Get back.
because of all the chemicals and whatnot. And I do want to say that um, it is a huge difference. Having been on both sides and then, coming back to the wrong side, there is a huge difference. So I'm actually looking forward to my consultation because I looked at your testimonials, and a lot of what what your clients have talked. A lot of the words that I heard were transformation, renewal, just being revived. I mean, like, they use these words, and I think that a resetting of your mind,
Yeah.
can definitely help with some of these triggers.
That's a fact.
Yeah, and so I think Genesis program is I'm looking forward to, the one-on-one and just seeing everything that it's about.
Be transformed by the renewal of your mind.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it's so wonderful that God gave you that, Clayvon. And it goes with what we're doing. It's right on time. Everybody here, on here right now. These are the hosts of this company. Uh, 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 we got some great people, man. And we could rock Texas and rock America with Johnny Bonner Show, with Genesis. I'm telling you, we can do it, man. It's no doubt. And the world need it. We won't save them all, but we'll save millions of people because people walking around, like I told you, they walk around with baggage, man. They got baggage. And they don't know how to let it go. They wear it. They don't know how to take it off. And them 6 modules will take it off.
Absolutely.
Marcus, he left.
Yes, he did. And I'm glad you brought up the testimonies, Leslie. I was going to run through
That was a
just.
great testimony. That was a great testimony. See, we needed that. Now when they chop this show up, Leslie, it'll be seen that what happened to you with your mother, because and other people see that and say, "Oh my God." So yeah, that was something. Who these 6 people here, babe?
These are the people from the website. These are the testimonies I was talking about playing just a moment ago. So we're just going to go through just so that I want the audience to be able to see the change that people have experienced by joining in on the Genesis transformation program. So,
Play 2 of them because we had 133.
oh, I wasn't going to play all a man and a woman. Here we go.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's coming. Executive producer. She's trying to push the button, and the button's not acting correct.
You know what happened? It changed screens on me. Hold on just a second.
It's all right.
It changed up on me. It changed up on me. Give me one
It's all
moment.
right. The devil don't want nobody to see this here. When you see a testimony, you know something done happened.
So we'll
So
do that.
Leslie Show just gave one.
Mm-mm. Coming back. Here we go. Make sure he's showing on the screen. Here we go.
Willpower to do those things that need to be done in order to be successful.
Or everything trying to happen tonight.
Doors with this Get Unstuck challenge.
The devil don't want none of this out here.
And I will keep walking forward into my betterness. I thank you for this challenge.
So it's going to start over again because I want y'all to see it from the beginning.
Coach Clayvon Browning, I just wanted to.
You go to Nigeria.
Coach Clayvon Browning, I just wanted to say thank you for the Get Unstuck challenge. We talked about so many things, the energy, what it means to be a human being. We talked about money, all of those things, the success factors, looking inside oneself and taking those steps to becoming a better you. I'm going to implement those things. And I have already started doing some things, locking in on a daily basis and having motivation and just having the willpower to do those things that need to be done in order to be successful. I thank you for opening those doors with this Unstuck challenge. It has meant a lot to me, and I will keep walking forward into my betterness. I thank you for this challenge.
Bring a woman.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's from Genesis, from Coach Clayvon. The brother was thanking him and honoring him for going through the 6 modules and releasing the baggage. Thank God. Ladies and gentlemen, waiting for technical difficulty.
No, we're not taking it. Just takes a little time. That's all it does. Just takes a little time, but we're good.
And I want to share with you my experience with working with Coach Clayvon Damu. First of all, my eyes have been opened to so many new possibilities, all the way from getting rich without working on a job, how to experience time freedom. Absolutely amazing. And what I love about the principles is that they're simple and easy to apply. So if you're ready to get unstuck and take your life to the next level, connect with Coach Clayvon Damu.
I smile when I listen to them.
You should. You should. You should.
What do we kind of winding down on? We're winding down the show. What are the 3 things you want people to take away from this episode?
Thank you, Kat. Number 1, if you see the barcode on the upper left corner, I want everyone to scan that barcode and schedule a one-on-one consultation. And let's talk about any limitations, any stagnation. You know, we help people take off the mask, we help people break the chains, and we help people be who they need to be to accomplish their goals and dreams and live out their purpose. And so that is my number 1 desire, is that people have the courage to, take that first step and know that they will have the mentorship, the coaching, and the support. The journey may be theirs, but they don't have to do it by themselves.
That's right. That's right.
That's number 1. And just number 2, teaming up with this Mastermind Alliance, Johnny Binder, you, Catherine, Leslie.
Thank you.
Just the level of appreciation.
Thank you.
Do to take Genesis and scale it and have Genesis be a vehicle for people all over the world for their transformation. That is the most important thing. And anywhere I can be just a servant, that's what the whole thing is about. So this platform allowing me to have access to possibly serve more people is the ultimate blessing.
That's a fact. And I want to say to you, we thank you, but I'm personally thanking you that you think enough of me from coming out that crazy world I was in, because that definitely was a tragedy. And it definitely was trauma. And for God to do what he did with Saul and turn to Paul, and did what he did with John the Baptist and turn to Dr. David Jeremiah. So I've lived it, Genesis. So I've been had a new beginning for 1993, 7 years, 2000, 92, 92, 92 to 9 is what? 92, 34 years. So I've been had a new beginning for 34 years. So again, and then I come home and got a clergy and a pastor license. Already had my exit of the nation, so I got both. Because they were one God, one faith, one baptism. So again, brother, for you to bring this to us and for me and you to meet and say, let's bring it to the show. And for Catherine to take her time and get the modules together and had the 6 people, and we're going to bring the show back and finish it with the other 3 people. And then we'll get into what's going on around us to show the people how bad we need it. So again, brother, I thank you for trusting me with your life, your program, your baby that's coming to birth. Uh, I'm glad that I'm a servant too. I'm a servant of God. And I got 5,000 habit-making angels around me, and I'm I'm thanking God now for you, for your mother, your father, your ancestry, for getting you here, growing you here, because all of us here need to keep growing. Because once we stop growing, we fall. Because nobody's a know-it-all. We have to be a learn-it-all. So we got to keep growing. So these 6 modules, 99.9% of America need them, and they need them bad, especially at that White House. They need it bad than anybody on the planet, because they just lying. The man came as a terrorist, he had the gun draw. Man, ain't nobody seen no gun. Yeah, I mean, just straight lying. This man is a nurse. A nurse. Alexis Petty is a nurse. So again, uh, Genesis came at the right time. I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'll be one of your greatest coaches. I promise you that. And we will be victorious, and we will be successful. And we get on our knees with our hand up. And while people send an email, we'll be sending an email telling God, thank you for our brother, and thank you for Genesis.
Leslie, what was your big takeaway for tonight?
I think that my biggest takeaway is just recognizing that we can go back and we can change those themes, right? And it really takes you going back to the beginning, where those traumas or the incidents really took place, and you have to have a willingness. So it's just that understanding. And again, I'm excited for Genesis, and I think you have a wonderful thing to offer to us. And thank you for that. I also thank God for you.
Yes. So I'm going to tell you, I feel like I've been kind of quiet because I've been in awe at how the Spirit has been moving. Some years ago, I actually prayed that God would show me myself as other people see me, because I felt like it was a disconnect there. And that could be part of the reason why I ended up in Houston. You never know where these prayers are actually going to take you when you don't quantify. So here I am. And then I will say a couple of weeks ago, I didn't know I was rewriting the story in that context, but I was doing my own meditation and inner self work. And it took me back to a point in my early childhood. And I just kind of projected myself going back, taking care of myself the way I know to do now. And so just having this time with you has just been a full circle moment. So thank you. Thank you. And it served as a lot of validation. And I truly, truly appreciate that. And I honor the wisdom that God has given you and the minister. And I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to this next chapter in this journey. So anything I can do personally to help support the mission, I'm all in because we all
You
need some healing. All need
you
some
would
healing.
you would definitely be a part of it. You qualified. I will go to the CEO of the company and I would sit with him and I would tell him who I know qualified. And me and him will come out of the meeting and we'll start growing people with us, being coaches, and we'll never look back. And we'll show the package, how the package go and all the stuff. We won't do it on this app, but we'll do it. And we will save a lot of people's lives, and we will use the money so we can travel and do all the stuff we need to do and set up because I'm going to spend almost $20,000 just in here with the CNN desk, the speakers, all the stuff. So, and one day we'll have a whole compound where people come in, and it's going to be crazy. There's no limit to where we're going with this Genesis, and because Genesis really belonged to God, is where it come from, and our brother was intelligent enough to look at it, and some triggered him in a good way, and he used it wisely, and them 6 marches, brother. Uh, uh, Tell the people one more time what the 6 marches is, and we'll go out after that.
Okay, and you'll see this on the website as well. If you go to genesisnmt.com and you click on the tab that says programs, you'll be able to really do your due diligence on the No More Trauma program, the other 6 modules, which is social impact, which you have to be successful, or all 12 together, which is the Genesis experience. But as Mr. Binder has requested, the first 6 modules deal with the idea of taking off the mask.
Come on.
Through life experiences, we all tend to wind up wearing a mask, whether it is mother, daughter, husband, CEO, pastor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How about lazy, convicted felon, all these social masks that we wear. And the first module is very efficient in giving you permission to take off the mask and get back to the essence of who you truly are, which is this perfect divine spirit. And well, let me leave it at that. Okay. I get excited, Johnny. Okay. Take off the mask. The second module of the first 6, which really dives into trauma, breaking the trauma bonds, is called Break the Chains. Okay. That there is the second set of 6, which is for the social impact that we have up on there. And just a quick little sidebar, you can look at those 6 modules and you can tell they come as the second set after you have gotten yourself where you need to be. You want to be a great leader. You want to master time management. You want to be able to deal with conflict resolution. You want effective communication. You want to be able to accomplish your goals, which is another way of saying project management. And you also want to have a keen sense on financial literacy. So these are the social dynamics that you want to be able to apply as you're getting out there to win. Okay. But again, the first 6 are take off the mask, break the chains, holistic health. Okay. Spiritual priming. Because what I'm telling what I'm teaching Leslie, one of the most profound things I've ever learned is that life doesn't happen to you. Leslie, you ever meet people, if you don't mind me asking you, where you get on the phone with them, they're always in victim mode. Something's always happening to them. And it's a dynamic switch, Leslie, when you get to the point where you understand life does not happen to you. It's supposed to unfold for you. So with spiritual priming, when you start your day off with the proper breathing exercises, the proper affirmations, visualization, auto suggestion, your gratitude exercises, and your physical fitness. If you were to prime yourself every day before your day began, you would find life would start happening for you as opposed to you. Okay. So spiritual priming. And to close out the first 6 modules, we have my favorite of the 6, which is emotional intelligence.
Yes.
When the people, and this is back to your original question, Leslie, when our people, and our people are the people of the world at this point, when people begin to master emotional intelligence, you will see a huge shift in our communities. Being able to get yourself, to be high level with emotional intelligence, the prerequisite is this. You have to have a very high self-esteem. Your self-tree must be profound. What's the self-tree? Well, Kat, your self-tree is your self-love, your self-esteem, your self-image, your self-confidence, your self-awareness, all the virtues of self, which is what has been damaged in most human beings. But I know this is Johnny's true ministry. Listen, I'm telling you, I got the chills right now. But the biggest issue we have is the self tree is damaged. So when you have the self tree, there's all these branches: self-esteem, self-love, self-awareness, self-image, self-confidence, self-love, right? So you build up the self tree, you get so powerful with your self-love that now you could lose yourself to accommodate others. Your ego is no longer in position because you are no longer triggered by external stimuli. The only thing that triggers you, Kat, is your internal self-awareness. So Johnny, if you have a group of human beings that are only triggered by their internal self-love, nothing external can stimulate them or trigger them. Now you have people that are so grounded with self-awareness that you could now lose yourself to accommodate others. Hence the key to emotional intelligence.
Thank you. Thank you. We love you. We'll come back on the next show and get started. Always look at that clock. We're at 1:45, 1:50. We had to shut out. She have to let the people know, come back and subscribe to at the Johnny Binder Show. Come on, Catherine. That ain't my job. That's your job.
Oh, okay. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope you go back and watch it again. There was a lot of jewels that were dropped.
Whole lot.
For those of you who are catching this on the replay, please leave us a comment, either Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're watching. Remember, we are the Johnny Binder Show at Johnny Binder Show across all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So again, follow us, subscribe, click the notification bells. Just let us know if you like what you're seeing. And
you want to say something real quick?
Go ahead.
Kat, can you just also in your closeout remind them about the barcode that's on the screen in the upper left-hand corner?
Sure will. Please click on the QR code up in the upper left-hand corner. Scan that. We have a free gift for you, courtesy of the Johnny Binder Show. You get a free initial session with Coach Clayvon, and it will be worth it. It will be so very worth it. I didn't even have the full experience. I just had about 5 minutes before the show, and it was wonderful. So Leslie's shaking her head too. It was absolutely wonderful. So it will be worth it, and he will be coming back soon.
Let me say something real quick. Catherine,
yes.
I don't think you heard something.
What?
He's coming back a whole lot. He's my partner. This is job now. So we gonna do a lot with Genesis.
I didn't know.
Stop acting like he got work to do. Ain't no more 2-3 weeks down the road, then come back. So he got work to do. Let's go to work. Come on, let's close out.
Welcome to the Johnny Bonder family. No, sorry, Dr. Jeremiah family. Welcome. Alrighty,
I got great people. I love my people. They're wonderful.
okay, everybody started. He gave me a new closing phrase. We're gonna embrace all those generational blessings, blessings on blessings on blessings. So peace, and we will see y'all tomorrow.
Awesome.